We're live on my end.
Okay, welcome everybody. It is December 21st, 2017, and it's the winter solstice, or depending on where on Gaia you are, it's the summer solstice. So it's either a very short day or a very long day. Very short here, very dark here. But I'm glad everybody's here. It's a very cool day, actually a red hot energetic day, and a whole portal in what's going on. So I wanted to really take some time to talk about that for a minute. The very first thing I'd like everybody to do is get settled in, and I want everybody to tune into their hearts and reach out and tune into Randy. I sent him a message so he knows that we're doing this. He knows the time, Pacific time, that we're doing this. So he's going to hope that we can pick him on up and bring him on telepathically and fully into the call so he can play with us. So that would be very, very cool for him to do that. So think about your love. You are love, loving yourself, the love you may have for Randy and all beings, and spreading out around the globe, and then around outside of the blue planet and all of the beings that are out hanging out there. And there's a whole flotilla, many flotillas of them, and all the stars and planets and planetoids, galaxies, all of the multiverses, and all the way out. And just realize that as you're feeling that, as you're imagining that, as you're being that, you are that. All of that is actually within you. It's mirrored. It's part of the holographic nature. It's all in you. So all of the parts of your brain and your rest of your body systems are actually a mirror of the whole universal system. All of the energetic ways within you, all of the actual physiological things within your brain, within your body, they're all mirrored out in the universe. That's why the saying, as above, so below, as without, as within. So just play with that. Okay, I think we got Randy. We can feel him. And speaking of the brain, I just wanted to start off tonight's call to really play with thinking bigger, really stepping into the fullness of who you are, and to give you a sense of just what this moment in existence, in reality, in the multiverses means not only for all the beings on this planet, but as they go out into the multiverse. And specifically on this planet, this time right now is termed as the rainbow portal. It's an actual portal that we're stepping through. We've been walking on the rainbow bridge. I'm going to get to that in a minute, but I wanted to just frame it from the beginning of December, high energies the whole time. We had the full moon, which was a super moon, December 3rd. And then we've had the 12/12 portal, which is a very powerful portal. Now we have the solstice. The next thing we have coming up is the next super moon, which is the full moon, which is January 1st. And then there's other activations in there as well, but then you cap the end of January with another full moon, which is a blue moon, which is actually going to be the look of a red moon because it's a full lunar eclipse. So even if you're not certain about what all those things mean, there's a whole lot of activity going on out there, which means going on in here. So the analogy of the metaphor of the rainbow bridge is a bridge which is internal to us that we've been walking over as we're starting to connect. Some of us have been visiting there and staying there and coming back and forth to the fifth dimension. So fifth dimension isn't over there and we leave here. All of this really is within you because you actually create everything that is you and around you. So that metaphor of the rainbow part, the bridge and the portal, you can think of it in a scientific way, the colors from your auras, your chakras, all the different rays. So when we come from our soul line, our origination, we have different rays that we like to ride on. There's called the blue ray, silver ray, lots of different ones. And then we also integrate different rays of energy as we get to higher, more expansive levels. So that's kind of the metaphor for those colors for the rainbow. That's why it's called that. And all those colors right now are lighting up because what's actually happening, and it could be right at this moment, but in this moment, in these moments of time with the solstice, is that all of us, all of us, some have already moved there already, but all of us are going through physical ascension in body. And so you're walking through the portal of that happening. And so another metaphor for that would be, and scientific, is the corpus callosum in your brain. So there's that, I think a simple way to describe it is probably very simplistic, is the membrane between the two parts of your brain, the left and right hemisphere, is merging. Okay, so that's part of the bridge. So there's lots of different ways to use the analogy of the bridge. But as that happens, all of you, all of your brain, all of the things that were limited that vis-a-vis the veil, whether it was a veil because you asked to bring it in when you came to the planet, whether it was an imposed veil from all the genetic manipulations, there's lots of perspectives that you can look at it depending on, how far out your perspective is and how encompassing your perspectives are. But you can see all that. So anyways, that's happening right this moment. And the colors that we're emitting, the symphony that we're actually giving forth from each one of our beings on an energetic level, on a vibrational level, on a color spectrum level, is just sublimely, magnificently gorgeous. And that rainbowness that is us, of all those things that I talked about, can be seen by other beings on this planet right here, on a more linear physical level. But the planet right this moment is absolutely shimmering and sparkling and dancing like a bazillion fireflies, because from all of the beings, the star brothers and sisters, and all the other higher beings that are in body and not in body at various dimensions can see that. And that's reflecting back to them. So there's much celebration and jubilation. And the only thing I'll add to that before we all have our conversation, wherever that goes, is that whether you're understanding it or not, this is actually occurring. Whether you're certain of feeling it or not, this is actually occurring. And it also means that you're not going anywhere because, again, you're setting up into a vibrational frequency, which is that dimensional shift that you're making. It also means that now is the time really to fully step into that, to stop playing little, because you're all, and you can't get away with not being all anymore, for a really simple, pointed way to put it. And there's work. So one of the things as you step into this, where you're not just glimpsing or, you know, doing a little dance over here and think, oh wow, that's beautiful, I feel, you know, a higher vibration, all that kind of stuff. You're actually residing. That's the whole point of this portal, is that people are actually now opening and residing there. If they choose not to, it's free will, and they can go firmly into the linear. And that's where you get into the people talking about the split of the worlds and those kinds of things. Again, not going anywhere, it's right here. But it's very important to embrace that, because as you step fully and you're residing in the fifth dimensional vibrational frequency realities, so in the fifth dimensional stance, everything is bigger, would be a very simple way to put it. But it means that if you have things that have not been integrated yet, that have not been, that are still lighting you up, that are still getting in your way or making you spin in your brain, they're going to get bigger, because they're trying to call their attention to you. It's time to integrate them and let them go. So on balance, it's a fantastic, you know, there are no limits. And it's just a question of really stepping into it and making your choice. So I think that it's fair to feel into the fact that if anybody's here now and listening to the call, that they've already made that choice, not because they listened to the call, but because it was in the field of their vibrational frequency, you know, to even hang out around something like that. So anyways, that was all I wanted to bring forward, and I'd love to hear what you guys are. What's the view out your window and in your fifth dimensional vibrational field?
Well, I'll go first. Like, that's a big shock. Okay, so some folks know that I had an experience this morning, as I've already made a video about it and put it out. And at the time of that video, of course, I was feeling physically great and all kinds of stuff. Now, as the day has progressed this afternoon, I am having the most horrific headache ever. And BZ, when you talked about the corpus callosum, I think it was, that kind of made sense, because it's like right in here, and it's covering the whole part of my head up here. And I usually only used to feel that way when the planet was undergoing heavy electromagnetic flux or storm from a solar flare. And I checked, and there isn't any. And I did check my blood pressure, as I have had issues with blood pressure in the past. And while the bottom number is rather high, the top number is fine. And I haven't had issues with blood pressure in years and years. So I'm not overly.
You are the solar flare.
Aha. Well, that makes sense. And I'm rather tired. Like 5 minutes before we started this, I was like, oh gosh, I could go to sleep right now. But I really wanted to be here this evening. And thank you for doing this, and thank you all for being here. I'm excited and a little bit overwhelmed. I'm verklempt, as they might say.
Yeah, I call that the sleepy train. And for all of us here, and well, the whole planet anyways, the sleepy train is going to come visit a lot of people. And basically, you know, you have to hop on board. I mean, you know, I've walked past my GM's office and seen in the window that he's on the sleepy train at work in the office, and I quietly walk in and just stand there until part of him can sense me, and then he turns and he looks at me, and he knows I'm a nut job anyway, so he doesn't worry about it, and he smiles, and I said, how's it going? He said, really weird. I said, okay, well, that's good, you know. And sometimes we discuss a little bit about it, sometimes we don't. But he gets it on a lot of levels. So the point is, when that train comes in the station and wants to get you on it, you usually have to go. You can come up with different ways that you can work with it so that you can put it off a little bit. Like if I'm driving down the highway and the sleepy train is like right there and says get on, I am yelling that no, I'm driving the car now and you need to just, I'll meet you at the next, even if I have to pull over, a little ways up and take a 5 or 10 minute nap where I'm kind of meditating, kind of just zoning out for a minute. That'll help me get a little further down the road. But that's what it takes. Because again, I said everything gets bigger. So what's happening is you're getting a tremendous amount of integration done. You're letting go of stuff. So you're taking out lots of stuff because all of the energies, all the higher frequencies are flowing into you, and it needs that space. And that stuff's coming in. So.
Well, that is very much what it feels like. Like there's something, there's been a lot of expansion today. A lot of tears, of release, of realization, maybe on some levels of things that, just things, being able to see things, that expansion that we've talked about before, hearing or seeing something that that experience. I'd heard that video. I listened to that video that I transcribed, or that I helped to transcribe. But I was apparently in a different place, a different space, if you will, as I was finishing that up today. And just seeing it and feeling the enormity of all of it was just so, even now, just the feeling of that again was very huge, very expansive, and yeah, a lot of gratitude and love in feeling as well.
Cool.
Next.
Andrew, you got a headset. Why don't you rock on there, babe?
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So lovely to get to see your energy this time.
Yes. Just having a great day, all in all. Not much to report. Energies are running high and just enjoying the ride right now.
Yeah, kind of like Rocket Man.
Yep. Something quite like that.
The back of your wall, the way I'm seeing it, I see the beautiful kind of, it looks kind of, it's more green on the turquoisey side. It's Caribbean green. It's very pretty,
Yeah.
but it also has, it's coming through with some pink shimmer to it, which I think part of it is your energy.
It's probably me.
Bouncing off. Yeah, I love it. It's really nice.
Thank you.
Great color. And you got up in the one corner, there's almost not quite a rainbow because it doesn't have a whole bunch of colors, but it has several. It's like a gold and the green, and like I said, the silvery pink. Yeah, it's beautiful.
To the left or to my left or to my right?
To your left.
Okay, I see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else? Come play, guys.
Hello, Christy Love here.
Hey.
So
Hey,
this
Christy.
morning I got an email talk about integrating that just completely, long story short, it has released me to my freedom a little earlier. I kept having these court hearings the past 6 months or so, and they kept doing these continuances because I kept saying, I do not consent and you have no authority over me. And they kept saying, you know, the last 4 hearings I had refused to even go. I wasn't going to waste my time. And they kept saying that they were going to put out a bench warrant for me. I said, go ahead, you have no authority over me. And this morning I got an email from my attorney saying they closed the case. And just been a day of celebration for me. Beautiful. Long awaiting, over 17 years.
Very cool.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
It's hard to be a bully when the other person won't cower and and be afraid.
Yeah.
In fact, it really pisses them off.
Yeah, and I saw that, and you know, I also understood where they were coming from. You know, they were doing their job, and I did my best to educate them on where my rights were, and yeah, they didn't have a prayer. Just feels good. I feel so free now.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And it's nice that it sounds like in your voice you also have compassion, you know, for them. That they're doing their job and that's what they understand. And
right. Yes. You know. Yep. Yeah, I mean, there were a few times where I wanted to be sort of mean to the attorney because I didn't feel he was doing his job. But at the same time, when you look at the big picture, he was, you know, to his best ability. So, yeah. It's all good now.
Yeah. Well, and all that, again, is another illustration of integration and, you know, how I work it. Because one of the things that's really important to remember as we expand in the higher dimensions is it's not a place to go hide. It's not a place to think, oh, well, you know, this is the 5th dimension. There's fluffy bunnies around here, nothing else, and nobody can touch me, because that isn't the way it works. Not if you're hiding. Yes, there's beauty and expansion and unlimited possibilities in the field of all possibilities that you can play on. But if it's doing it from a place of avoidance or running away from and not integrating the other things, then you'll find really quickly that, you know, that comes right up in your face big until you can deal with it. So it's nice to hear that energy in your voice when you're talking about it.
Yeah. Just wonderful. Love
it. Who else?
Speak. Hi, Bob Wilson.
Hi.
Hey. Well, let's see. I woke up really early this morning at an hour before, and I couldn't go back to sleep. So it was a good energy day. I'm kind of sleepy from it, and I've had disruptive sleep pretty often for a pretty long time. It's been several days recently, and I just take it in stride. I just say, well, that's good, because things are happening. You know, I mean, why worry about it? And an interesting manifest thing that happened a day ago. I was saying, you know, I want to be making some money from things I like to do, and I've been doing a lot of artwork. And I'm in this coffee shop that I'm sitting in is my hub, and so basically I work with a friend painting indoor and outdoor in houses, and so, but I was saying this to myself. I've been saying it because I've been drawing animal portraits and people portraits and all that. And I said, you know, it'd be nice to make some money from doing those things because they're fun, and why not? And anyway, so this house we went to just yesterday. Go in and two women are wonderful, and we were talking to one of the women who was kind of organizing us and all that. And I just noticed over there, I said, you know, what's that portrait? It was a portrait of a dog, and it was about this size on the shelf. I said, oh, could I look at that? And anyway, got to talk and said, oh yeah, I do that kind of stuff. And then pulled my phone out and showed her things. And she said, oh, I'd love to have one done for my friend. And she has a birthday in May. And so I'd love to have a portrait done of her dog. And at the time she was out walking her dog, so she was free to talk. And I said, hey, great. And then she said, oh, and then of my cat, which greeted me when I came in. And I said, perfect. Yeah. And it was really, it was perfect. And I kind of had the feeling, okay, just keep asking that. Just keep thinking that way. And easy and free. And sure enough, there it just popped up. I said, wow, okay. That's definitely the way it's supposed to work. And it did. It was wonderful. And then this morning at the coffee shop here, I was here early this morning before work. A woman brought her little dog in. And the dog, I said hi to the dog. I was sitting there, and the dog started getting really energized. And I said, hey, how are you doing? And she was trying to hold on to him, and he started barking and stuff. So I said, oh, I can't let that happen. So I got up and sat down by the dog, and we were just playing the whole time. But animals are like that, are a confirmation of my energy. And yeah. He was talking to me, and he was wanting, let's play, or let's talk, or let's intermingle. And little kids too, from babies to like 2 or 3 years old, and they'll walk through with their mom and dad or something, and just stare. And it's like, I had a beard on that was all silver. I thought, ooh, they must think I'm Santa, or something. And it was great. It's just confirmation. And it's like, okay, I just look at them and I say, yeah, you're right. And I'm connecting with you, and you're connecting with me, and we see each other. And parents will say, oh, say hi to him, And I said, no, that's okay. He or she says hi to me. They looked at me, and then we connected. I said, yeah, there's, So anyway, this is where some people have called me the professor. And I've talked a lot about the energy. I said, just be aware, and particularly the young baristas. In the morning, we have chats, and I just say, just be aware. A lot of energy is coming in, and they tell me symptoms they've had. I said, that could be some regular thing, but it's energy. I will tell you, keep in mind it's energy. The sicknesses, energy. The this that's odd, the itching. That was an interesting one that came up. Yeah. And I've had that in the small of my back and up here and I thought it was one night I got on my car to go in, and I thought, there are no bugs. I know bug bites because I work in gardens. So it felt like I had either spider or chigger or whatever. And I said, this can't be. I just know. I haven't been among, and it's cooler here. So that's gone.
That's your star energy coming online.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And if you could talk a little more about that. Yeah, that's interesting. I read a little bit somewhere I think in Lisa Transcendence Brown's, it mentioned.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different people who have been given a lot of details. I laugh because as always happens when I have these conversations, I get a lot of information coming in, downloads, and can feel sense. But my itching is pinging off of your story.
Oh no, God!
So the activation, is there, and it could be that you just feel itchy. Mine shows up in 2 specific areas. That there's no bite there. There's no reason, because it can 1 minute in a day. So let's say at 10 o'clock in the morning, it can be all bright red and itchy. And then at 10:25, perfectly clear skin as if there was nothing there.
Mm.
And then, so it can change. I mean, some days, you know, it's not that nice. It keeps on, but that's what it is. It's the frequency vibration of, because you're multidimensional, and because you're multidimensional, you're having experiences, and you are a being that is out there being on multi-dimensions at the same time, not only from your point of view, you know, if you're looking in the coffee shop, but also the totality of you can simultaneously can have different timelines, different you might call, it's not the right word, but we'll call it lives, embodiments, although sometimes you're not, in some portions of you are not in an embodiment. So what's happening with all of this is all of that is coming back into you while you're feeling and integrating all of that. But that particular one, it's a good thing in my mind that people think it's cool because it's really itchy. So at least you can, when you're itchy, you can think, well, yeah, this is, you know, my starlight coming in. Wow, really itchy.
Yeah, I don't worry about it. I take it as signs, or, you know, it's okay. That's okay. Good. I do. And anyway, I'm used to it from the summer and being in the garden. And you know what? And something that's really funny is I look for signs of people, whether they know about stuff or not, but they'll say things. And what's been funny is the baristas have started saying, "Oh, it's the energies," back to me. I mean, without me prompting, and then and seeing numbers, particularly the clock with one of them, and I figure they're good ones to get cued in because of all the people they see.
Absolutely.
Throughout the day, you know. So it's been a good hub. I figured, you know, this will be my base of operation.
Yeah.
So many people come through, and it's the interesting thing is people, they see me regularly, and they've you know, businessmen and women and this and that. They'll come over and they say, you know, I've seen you here, and I just thought I should introduce myself. And I'm just, you know, it's like I'm not doing anything.
Well, you are. You're
that's true.
Being who you are fully and completely. You're transmitting and you're beaming out all the bright colors that you are. So whether they understand it or not, they want some of that, and they like being around it because it sets a whole. I mean, you're changing in a lot of areas the tone for their days. If they may come in there late or this or that or the other, she'll get coffee, you know, right? As Sheila talked about, the grind, and they can't, you know, you're not selling anything. You're not saying, oh, did you hear about this or that? You know, you're reading.
Yeah.
And that as they ask, you know, or I should say hi, then
And a lot of the times it's just hi. I mean, and there are those I know that count on me saying hi. I can feel it to where if I don't, you know, see them and they pass by or something, it'll be disappointing or something like that. You know, it's just and I feel bad. You know, I say, oh, you know, but I try and catch each one that come through. You know, and but no, I do see that. I do understand that. But what I guess the point of it was that, you know, they're not, as you said, they're not going to get anything as far as a business thing or whatever. It's not that kind of deal. So it was always curious, you know, but it was wonderful. It's really wonderful. So I just kind of broadcast here.
Yeah.
And it's working. That's the fun thing. It's really working. So, and it has been for a long time. So I figure I'll hold the energy, and that's my role. Yeah. I'm in Kansas, so it's almost the center of the country, of the U.S. So I'm just beaming out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very important. It's very cool. Yeah.
And you're very good at it.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I love the way you feel.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Well, I've enjoyed your show. The three of you, you know, I've known you. Yeah, it's been great. It cracks me up in a good way. I mean, it's just
Good.
Cracks us up too.
oh, I know that. No, but which is perfect. It's like, this stuff gets too serious. I mean, it is, and it isn't, and it's play. You know, it's and it's really funny that here it's interesting. The manager, he's over several of the coffee shops. He's very corporate and very intense, and you can feel it when he comes in. And it's like all the baristas afterwards, because I'm friends with them, they say, "It's just a coffee shop." You know, it's not that important. And you know, they're cranking their numbers, you know, and they're anxious shoppers and all this. And it's just like, oh, 'tis the season, you know. It's just like, can't we just all sing fa la la and get, you know, it's like a few days it'll all be relaxed. So, you know, and everybody will go out and get drunk, you know. And everything.
No, actually, I think it's really safe to say that in a few days it won't be relaxed.
Oh, well, okay. Well, that's okay. That's good.
So,
but you know, if you get in that stream, that slipstream, then it's just like you can be relaxed in a way.
well, I didn't mean not to be. Well, some people,
You know what I mean?
will not be because of the chaos and and the information revelations and stuff. And that's as all beings who are awake and aware, that's part of their mission to help with that. So even if you did nothing more than just smiled occasionally and sat there beaming out, you actually are a huge help within that, because it's, you know, even if they wouldn't describe it this way, the streams of your energy and the colors are infused in the coffee shop when you leave, wherever you sat, but of the whole building, and then on the street corner, wherever that is, it's now riding out. It's kind of like we talked about when Lisa and Sheila were riding in their car and they were going to that thing a while back, you know, all the display of energy. So that's what everybody does.
Yeah, going to that to sell that just popped in my mind when you said. I really enjoyed that explanation. Everywhere you drive and the energy is just kind of, you know, it's kind of like it was when Michael Jackson was still with the Jackson 5, and it was a video that they did, and there was the special effects for whenever they moved or whatever, it was like colors of waves of colors and sparkles and all this, you know, and you hear the whooshes and I forget what the song was, but it was a very positive energy kind of song, and that's what I imagined when you were talking about.
Yeah.
And I thought, I got to remember that. Keep that in mind, because that was really poignant. That was great. Yeah, I really liked that.
Cool.
So yeah, get on the rocket ship, right?
There you go.
Well, see, what's fun about that is it's kind of fun then to just sit back and you'll see the energy going like this, and then you can just say, yeah, it's all right, it's cool, it's, you know, and that's kind of where we come in, right?
Yeah.
This is good. Just say this is good, and they'll say, how is it good? And
So Bob, I'm gonna ask you to mute your background, and then we'll let.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you all.
Who else? Hello.
Easy, I have a question.
Yeah.
This is Christy Love again. So, you know, we're preparing for this everything to explode and our all everything we're wanting to manifest. What do you suggest ways that we can prepare? I know I have felt the need to prepare in the sense of building my immune system, because when somebody gets to the point to say go, I'm going to go and do what I know I need to do in the way of helping people. So what
Go.
are some things that you suggest?
Did you hear me?
What's that?
I said go.
Okay.
No more waiting.
Yeah, right.
Go. It's really, in all seriousness, it's go. It's go time. It's go time.
All right.
So one of the things I would answer that back in is you have connection with, availability to the most amazing technology and intelligence and potentiality of capabilities. You have a direct dial number to that. And in this physical embodiment, her name is Christy.
Right.
So one of the things that I would ask you to play with is to have those conversations. You can do it in meditation. You can do it in different places, taking a walk, right before you go to sleep, however it works for you. But start to have those conversations and ask, what would be expansive and valuable for me to eat now, or in a way to exercise my body, or a way to quiet my mind, or whatever it is. And we're getting prompts all the time, but most people don't listen to them, or they don't somehow recognize what they are. A common, an oft given lament is that people will say, I don't have any guides, and I'm asking, but I'm not getting any answers. And, lots of phrases along that. And I know that's not the case, but a lot of times what happens is we are so either swirly in our brain, or kind of churning things over, or rushing too fast, or not noticing. Turning. I mean, that's the biggest one. I've said it a lot of times, and I'll keep on saying it. Those things.
Yep.
And we also may have expectations that things come in a specific way. So we might listen to someone who does channeling or something, and they are a conduit, and they give a message that seems clear, and so they figure, well, they, however they do it, and it comes through, and it's all typed out, and they, hand them a sheet of paper, and, or they give them an electronic version, and they say, post it, or put your voice to this and do it. And, if they described literally with specificity and particularity how it came to them, and each of the thems that it would come to, as this one kind of example, would be kind of different, vastly different, depending on, again, them. So noticing is the biggest recommendation I can give you, whether it's things to eat, or exercise, or expansion, or raising your energy vibration, because in that you're tuning into and tapping into this amazing being that is you, and you can actually hear them. Now, you may get they may, they may give you a message from you to you with someone else, as the voice speaking, as it were. So I think that's probably what's going on right now. I'm a message you're giving a message to yourself, and I just happen to be the one who's having the auditory signal coming up.
Right, you're my backup.
But I'll give you one example. Some mornings I do lots of different things at work, and my schedule oftentimes is a 24-hour schedule anyways. But there's some mornings if I'm not, and I really do a very good job of most of the time. So if I was going to do a percentage, I'd say 95 to 97% of the time I'm present, I'm noticing, and I can be fully focused on one thing. There's a conversation with someone and notice all of the things around me, so that if someone said, later, did you hear this or that? I said, yeah, and I could relay it, even though I was completely focused on what this was, just because that's how I've made a point of being multidimensional in that and fully stepping into it. But there'll be an occasion where I'm not fully up where I like to be. And of course I'd like to be, beyond that, but I'm not fully where I would be. And I can be going through part of work. I have to go down this one road, and I'll hear this very quiet. It's not a voice. It's not a thought. It's so subtle you couldn't really specifically say it's one of those things. And a thought, I'll just call it a thought right now. A thought, comes
Vibration.
in. Yeah, I mean, I would describe it later, but I'm just trying to put a word to it for the illustrative.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And yeah, I hear it, but I pay no attention to it.
Right.
Because it's one of those days where, it's just, I let too much of the outside and I haven't stayed in my space while I'm, working in the outside. Anyways, I go a little further down the road, and sure enough, I got to do a U-turn and go around the other way, because the little whisper was saying, you can't go that way because they're doing X, Y, and Z now. And
right.
And so my reaction is, I just, of course, roar with laughter and go, right, one of those days, I got it. I'm on it now, and I'm tuned back in completely. So that's what I'm saying. It's a very tiny thing, and some people might, when it comes as an example, might get frustrated. Well, I got to turn around and no, actually, that's the noticing part, and the note, because. And when you do that, you'll notice, what if you, in that example, that was you turning around, in 2 feet, you'll get another thought or vision or whatever, however it comes to you, and you'll notice something. And so then, before you know it, you're actually having a full-fledged, in-depth conversation, whether it's by color or feeling or energy or however it comes in a whole myriad of ways. So that's happening all the time, and it's really up to us. Because you're not going to get a memo that says at 10 o'clock you have to be here and you have to go do that. It just doesn't. First of all, you have free will, so that can't happen, and it doesn't really happen that way. I mean, you as you expand your awareness and your vibrational frequency, and you hold that for the predominant frequency in your life, that will happen more and more, and it will get more directed, but that's you doing it to you. And because you're stepping more fully into the roles and missions and job that you already agreed to do, and by doing that, you're actually confirming that, I remember, sitting on the beach around the campfire, I remember I had said that I do this, and now I'm here and I'm remembering it now, and yeah, okay, now I'm, so when you're getting that feeling, that's happening. But that's what I would suggest perhaps playing with.
Very good.
But the bottom line is, you said, if, when someone says go, so go. Who else can play?
Hi, BZ. It's Taliesin.
Hey, Taliesin.
So, wow, what an exciting day. The energy is just over the top. I've had to really somewhat monitor the flow just to keep myself and, you know, like engage the governor, so to speak. Just the energy is just like flowing like a fire hydrant for me. It's been that way all day. And it's so exciting to see what's happening on the world stage. Oh my goodness. It's just like, wow. Things are manifesting so quickly. It's so exciting. I feel like all the things that I've been working for, visualizing, are just, they're all happening. It's just like, wow, this is great, you know, so very exciting. It's been a beautiful day. Was nice here. I was able to work outside in the orchard all day long, pruning trees, and got a lot done. And I just love communing in nature. It's just so lovely. I just can't say it any other way. It's just really nice. Let's see. One of the, I got some news today from a client friend of mine, and he was diagnosed, a few weeks back with an enlarged thyroid. And he told me about it, and I said, well, what are you going to do? And he says, well, I'm going to go to the medical doctor. And, you know, he was really focused on doing the traditional evaluation and so on and so forth. And I said, well, it's what you got to do, what you got to do. I said, I don't think I would go that route, but, you know, what do you think it is? And he says, well, I don't know. We're pretty good friends. He asked me what my opinion was, and I gave him some pointers and some things I was thinking. And he kind of just didn't really respond. I could see he was wanting to, like, no, you know, he was rejecting some of the things I said. And I didn't try to push anything. I just, well, you know, you might want to consider some alternative treatments, but you're going to have to, you know, follow it out, you know, go ahead. So he went to the doctor, and they did right away. They wanted to do a biopsy. He had a mass on the right side of his thyroid. And of course they did the biopsy, and then he was like waiting. And like a week later, they came back, well, the biopsy was inconclusive, and now we want to do surgery and remove half of your thyroid. And he told me this, and I just kind of looked at him, and I said, and what are you going to do? And he says, well, I don't know what to do. And I said, well, so the biopsy was inconclusive. And he goes, yeah. And I said, well, doesn't that tell you anything? Like, you know, maybe there's nothing going on. There's just something's happening in your system. Your thyroid is, you know, it's a gland that goes through changes as you get older and so on and so forth. And a lot of things could be affecting it. And so he was like, well, I you know, my wife really wants me to go ahead and do it, and da-da-da-da-da. And I said, well, you know, I love your wife. She's a beautiful person. But I said, you have to do what you want to do. So I just was kind of coaching him. And what do you want to do? So he tuned into that. And I kind of pointed him towards, I won't mention any names, but I pointed him towards a couple of alternative doctors that I know. And today he contacted me and said he's going to not do what they're suggesting, and he's going to go see this alternative doctor that I suggested. And I was just like, yay, you know, it was just so nice because, you know, I didn't push him. I didn't say, you know, twist his arm. I was just really soft and just was sending him the energy telepathically and the information I thought he needed. And it worked. And it was just like, oh gosh, I was so thankful to get that news today. So that's what's happening for me.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's a gift, the commercial, dating myself here, but the commercial, there was I think it was a Clairol Herbal Essence shampoo commercial way back but you know, about telling two friends, and then it, like this, kind of like we were seeing this computer screen here with all the, and it splits and splits and splits and splits. And so like the coffee shop with Bob and your friend tells, and you know, it's just, again, little mention of here and there and that, and within those little conversations, or even just the thought that they carry around it and how they share it out, are actually encodements and seedings of that energy, because that's how it all works, you know, that are flowing forth out there. And so in a really good way, it's this amazing kind of telephone tag, you know, game of telephone energetically, and also just a spreading of, you know, the air on your skin is all this amazing expansion. And what's coming next, and it's next is a linear term, but it's, you know, it's already happening. People can see it, and they're more aware of it, more and more consciously aware of it. Both those who are already aware and those who would be described as, you know, pulling the pillow over their head. Is that, and that's the separation of the worlds, is becoming incredibly evident. So someone, for example, someone who, you know, is not awake and aware, who's not noticing, who's not paying attention, who just has been, you know, with the pillow over their head, is noticing not just one person who kind of talks funny or describes things in a weird way or is happy and despite all the chaos, but they're all over the place. Wait a minute, there's one in the coffee shop, and look at those baristas, and they didn't used to be like that.
Right.
So it's spreading and spreading and spreading, and it's because the delineation, the noticeableness of that is becoming very clear and very apparent, and that's what's meant by the separation of worlds. So the Earth is not splitting in half and one half going over there and one half going, that's not what it is, because whereas the Earth, she is a sentient being, Gaia, and we're part of her and part of that. There are it's a merging of it's kind of complicated. It's a merging of the two worlds. So an integration, just like inside you're doing all that integration, and you're integrating out, you know, in an expansive way with the other dimensions and your multidimensionality. But it's also it's like they're layered on top of each other. So I was explaining to someone the other night, I was talking, and if you're sitting on a bench and you're watching, you know, maybe you're at the park and you're sitting on a bench, and right next to you, someone else is sitting on the bench. So you can be residing in the fifth dimension, holding that's predominant, your predominant frequency vibration is fifth dimension and above, energy, expansion, all of that. And the person sitting next to you can have their predominant energy vibrational frequency be third dimension. So on the one hand, you there is not really any interaction. They might not even notice you, right? And that's what's happened for a long time. People have given stories about how that's actually, you know, they could describe that, you know, they seem to be invisible to a lot of people. They don't notice because it's not in the, it's kind of they phase in a slightly different, they're just not noticed. You know, if you were to look at, again, the Star Trek image where Kirk, when he has something happen and he goes at a higher vibrational frequency and he just sounds the other people like a bug buzzing because he's, you know, kind of speeded up. But that's some very simplistic thing. But now what's happening is the two people on the bench, they can see each other and they know that they're there, and they know, even though that knowing on one may not be fully understandable or something that they can put into words, they know that there is a distinct difference. So sometimes you say, well, people come from different worlds, right? You know, and that might be strata, you know, it might be their education. And we've used that in lots of different ways over the years to segment people. But this is such because it's an energy, frequency, vibration. So they can see you, they can experience you, and depending on what their free will choices that they're making, they may be like with Bob, and the people say, "Oh, I think I should come say hi to you," right? So in that moment, they feel this other world, dimension, whatever they would say it in their terms. We'll call it that for right now, for an illustration point. And they like it. They don't understand it. They're not a complete match to it because they're in a different frequency vibration. Just like if you're talking to someone and they're going on about something that really churning and it's pulling your energy down, it's the same kind of thing. It's, you know, for them it's kind of going up, and I think I should come say hi, because they like that. They, you know, they don't understand it, they don't get it, but they like how it feels. Okay, so in that respect, someone can notice, and because of their free will choice and how they're noticing it, may start a conversation. And in that conversation, for a moment, they may actually merge or superimpose on your fifth dimensional frequency vibration. Mm-hmm. They won't stay there because they have integration. They've got to do all the things that we've talked about, right? But they can get it. Now, other people who are maybe choosing, I don't like this, because when you see that differential, when the analogy of the two people sitting on the bench, now they can see. It used to be when they sat on the bench, they couldn't see that the judicial system was not actually what they thought it was. They couldn't see that the government was not their friend. They couldn't see what really the banks do. They couldn't see, you know, the list is long, so you can fill all the things they couldn't see it. But now they're sitting on the bench and they can see it. They don't understand it. They don't have a pattern of reference for it. It seems like all of a sudden someone drove up with this truck or this movie set and what the hell happened, right? So they can see it. And a lot of them are going, well, I don't like it. Where's the pillow, right?
Yeah,
Pillows
exactly.
gone. Pillows have been, pillows are gone. Even if you wanted to, that's not in the free will choice zone anymore, you know. So that's a good, it's complicated, but that's a somewhat of a fairly stable analogy for those two things. And so when they're sitting on the bench next to you, so they see it, all of a sudden, they know, they may label it different ways, but they know it. And in their free will choice, if they may choose, no, I don't want to, okay, now they're stepping more firmly into that linear perspective, so that 3D world with a separation, and that's where it comes out. But they haven't flown off the planet yet.
Yeah, BZ, I wanted to, this kind of changes the subject a little bit, but I wanted to ask you, you brought up Randy, and I think I've mentioned to you in the past or on one of the calls that I will go there and visit Randy often, energetically, of course, and ever since, he got moved to his new hotel, I've had difficulty making a connection like I was able to. Mm-hmm. And mm-hmm. I look at it and I kind of go, well, he's in I see him in a solitary cell. Is that what's happening? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's in a solitary cell. Okay.
And you're also picking up on that because he actually is, again, I'll give you a simplistic description for it, but he is, it's on multiple layers and levels in that he is isolated that way. Intentionally, on purpose, in actually a very loving, expansive way for a very loving, expansive reason. But nonetheless, that's what's occurring.
Okay,
So
well,
I'll give you a dot hint to go with that from a linear perspective. Remember, I posted a little while ago, and of course, since I don't play in time anymore, that could have been weeks ago, but a little while ago, I posted where there was the return to sender of documents that the court judges had sent to Randy at Blunt.
right.
Right.
Yep,
So
I saw that. Yeah.
That's a linear example. They don't even know where he is.
Right. That's why I asked, because I said there's something different going on there, and so yeah, you've verified it. So
yeah.
Okay. Well,
It's one of
thank you.
the reasons that I've asked on this, and then the 12 portal, that all on the call in that moment, and then all who come into contact and expand the call from there afterwards, in theory, because it's all at the same time, that focus on that, because that is
Right.
an energy signature that will carry and actually be allowed to some extent to get through.
Right. Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean to stop.
No, I won't.
But that's why you're feeling what you're feeling. Yeah.
All right.
BZ.
Yeah.
Hi, it's Tim Pashmaki. How are you?
Hey Tim, how you doing?
How is everybody? Everybody's awesome. I just want to thank everybody for their hard work and, being there for one another and listening. It's been an awesome experience. So today, I had an awesome day at work, and at around 12 o'clock maybe, I was like, wow, today's the day. And I don't know where it came from, kind of came out of nowhere. You know how you have just that random energy burst, and it's a thought, and it's a positive thought, it's not of any negative sort. So I was like, awesome, so turned up the music, plugged because I'm in the automotive industry. I work at a dealership, and I detail new car inventory that comes in off the truck. I clean it up and put it back in the inventory and get it ready for new car sales or new car leases or however it may go. So I'm pumping through the day. Everything's going good. And I'm like, man, I'm hungry. I've been working hard. And my boss is like, hey, Tim, I need you down the street. I had a guy that didn't call in and I need some help. So I'm like, okay. So I go down the street to the main dealer because I work at the body shop where all of our inventory is. And I go down to the main dealer to the showroom, and there's food there, a buffet of food. Salad, everything. I'm like, wow, this is pretty awesome, And so I ate and everything and flowing through the day. And like he said, the energies are high, so I'm just feeling this crazy energy. And I go to do a demo for the daughter's or the owner's daughter it was a 2018 Charger, and I had a screwdriver in my pocket, and I sat in the seat and I poked a hole in the seat. So I was like, oh man, I just made a mistake, but I was riding that energy wave, of excitement of what's going on and everything. And I'm like, and I think of Randy throughout the days and the months here. I've thought of you, Randy. I have not thought of you. I pray for you and all of what you do and what you've, wow, it's just amazing. But so I go throughout my day, and I'm like, oh, I poked a hole in this brand new 2018 Dodge Charger. Okay. And so I call my boss, and like you said, why run away? Why do that? And I'm an honest person. I'm Catholic. I've grown to be honest and raised that way. So I call my boss, and on that energy, I'm like, man, Tony, I'm like, I was in the zone. I was working hard, and I went to change the plate and grab the baby seats for a rail, and I went to move the car and pop the hole in the seat. He's like, how bad is it? Had a good positive vibe about it. He's like, how bad is it? Come out, took a couple pictures, and my main manager, he's just ordered a new seat. He didn't bring me into the office or give me a kind of hassle. You know, it's like the whole flow of the day, everybody was feeling some kind of way, you know. And then I get home and I have a Christmas card from my general manager of my dealer, like wishing me a Merry Christmas. It's just the way that things are going. The energy of positivity is beautiful. So everybody enjoy what you're feeling, you know, that tingling in your body, in your head, and, you know, all of those things where you feel like almost outer body, like your body feels light, you know. Enjoy that. It's a different feeling. I was an athlete. I used to speed skate for the Wolverines in Roseville, Michigan. You know, I'm from Michigan, and I made the world tour, the Tour de Paris for outdoor inline speed skating in 2004 over in France.
Cool.
And I was kind of heavier, you know. I was heavier frame and all these things, and I couldn't compete with like people like Jessica Smith, Charlie Craven, Chad Hedrick, all these world-renowned speed skaters and athletes, because we skated on the same team. But now the way that things have changed, and I guess you could call it ascension or being awake to the fact, like I have a renewal in my body. Like I'm much thinner, more muscular and stat. I weigh the same, but things have just changed all the way around, physically, mentally, vibrational wise, the way things happen, manifesting, feeling, for sure. But I just wanted to add that. That's what I've been experiencing today. Just an awesome day, popped home seat, but on the end of it, it was a great response of positivity, you know?
Yeah, and so, Tim, I wouldn't be surprised at all if when they go to change that seat, they go, wait a minute, there's nothing wrong with this. See what you're talking about. It's perfect.
Hey, you know, something happens to where it didn't even happen, you know. And the thing is right the millisecond before it even happened, like something's like, don't sit down, like right at that moment, and I couldn't stop, but it was there. I almost caught myself. So yeah. If that's that eye tech or whatever,
it is. It's what
talks about. What's that?
I said that what you heard was that's an example of, you know, of that. And it could be, you know, this may be, like I said, I wouldn't be at all surprised. In fact, I have a good sense of it, that because of the way you flowed through the rest of that and the energy that met you there, you know, with this telling your boss and then this and that and the other thing, that literally when they go check the seat again, I don't think they're going to, you know, he said, how bad is it? I don't think they're going to find, if they find anything, it'll be, you know, very microscopic, and they may not even, you know, decide that there's nothing wrong with this.
Well, the thing is that the manifesting of that whole thing, I feel that. And it was like when it happened, it was like it was almost not there as I looked at it.
Right.
But when I touched it physically, I think I messed that up.
Well, you can unmanifest it, or you can manifest that it's gone. So in other words, it may be that you did manifest it all to have this whole story that you've illustrated with of looking at it, noticing, you remembered, you know, the thought, don't sit down, right? And then you went all the way through of going and flowing with the energies because they were high, and telling, you know, explaining what happened and showing that, and then so going through. So all of that is actually a thread that is up on an upswing thread of the manifestation of that. And oftentimes we'll do that for ourselves. It's not a question of to ourselves, but for ourselves as a proof, you know, as showing some proof of just how we can go through that. So play with
it. I set myself up for failure just to see. I don't know. It was just weird. A mistake I don't make.
No. What I'm saying is that you're bringing this so that you can show yourself how you flow through the energy. So keep riding the wave, right?
Yes. Didn't get down on myself like I would have in the past, and, you know, carry on about the day about a hole in the seat. You know, like you said, it didn't even happen. It was never It was never there.
But keep flying it so that the hole in the seat has dematerialized.
Right.
For that moment, Tim, your fear remembered what would happen puncturing that seat, but that fear is gone now.
Right.
Yes. Actually, in the past timeline, like, you would have, not to go backwards, I know it's against the rules, but I just wanted to say that you would have been scared, like you would have that anxiousness of what if, but like the whole way that the energy was flowing through the day and how I felt, it wasn't that way. It was like you said, it just went through and flowed on. It didn't even matter. It was nothing. It just goes. So it was beautiful. I just wanted to share that with y'all today.
Yeah, and you've got a whole bunch of co-creators on the conversation right this minute who are co-creating the dematerialization of that.
And materialization of Lamborghinis, because I love Lamborghinis and I love cars. So I was like driving the other day, and it was weird because it's like all of a sudden I was just thinking of it, and it's like I could see the gauges and feel the felt steering wheel and the carbon fiber shifters and everything. The gauges just came to life, and almost the smell. I was like, wow, that's kind of weird how you can, things are changing. Like you can really feel and see that, like it's there,
And
but that's just me.
Play in the energies of what you feel like when, what is that feeling that you
I'm ready to go. Like you said, I'm ready to go. I feel great. I just feel good.
Cool.
Yes. So I just wanted to say that everybody have a wonderful night, and thank you again for all your hard work and dedication and love. And you guys be blessed. Thank you.
Same to you.
I really wish you had your camera on, because for some reason, now this little thing that I have on my desk here is something that I made, and I was looking at the back of it here, and I have 05 on it. He's a little heart guy. He's a little walking heart, and it's been on my desk for I don't know how long. And you started speaking, and for some reason I felt the need to pick him up and just hold on to him. And it hit me as you were about to stop speaking, it was because of you. I don't know why. I wanted to share that with you. So I don't know. I just had.
Does he bend around and move like one of Gumby used to back in the day?
If I had made him out of the proper type of clay, yes. But that is exactly what he looks like. He looks like a Gumby type of.
Wow. Wow. Seeing into it. Very good. No, there's a story behind this. I had a friend that I played paintball with. Then I had a friend that was did black water operations in Afghanistan, etc. And 2 different people in 2 different places. And I had one day I was down in my basement. I was feeling down. I lost my grandma to cancer. I came across this lady called Barbara. I can't remember her last name, but it was the Living Library of Earth, like the living book.
Barbara Messiniak.
So I listened to it. I was like, okay, I'm going to listen to this for some reason. So I listened to it, and wow, was it ever amazing. And that was like the beginning of this journey that led me here to you at this moment, because I started paying attention to things like, wow, that's interesting. This is interesting, the clouds and how they move. Maybe they're starships or clouds, whatever. Then I started getting hit by these sunny days. So I had a buddy that was into Buddha, and he was talking about the Pleiadians. And he's like, man, maybe the Pleiadians are looking over you. And I'm like, the Pleiadians? And he's like, yeah, they come from this constellation, the Pleiades. And I was like, okay. So I looked into it, and I'm like, wow, that kind of fits my signature of like who I am. I love to create, and I love people who are nice and, are not disrespectful. And, I don't take disrespect lightly for some weird reason. I try to handle that and see the other side. But yeah, so it was like this Palladian connection that has led me to this whole deal. I don't know.
Well, wait, if you get the chance when this does go on video, make sure to take a look at what he looks like. And it just called my attention to the fact that now understand that I wasn't really awake in 2005. It was the beginning of a very long illness for me. But I'm noticing that I put his hand near what would have been his heart if he wasn't a walking heart as well. So it's like he's got his hand over his heart, and
so he's loving the conversation, or is it just me?
well,
I hope it's enjoyable for all of us.
For some reason,
You know?
I think he's representative of you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm a heart.
I think
That's
you may
beautiful.
be a walking heart. Yes.
There you go.
Well, thank you. That's
And-
most likely that was awesome.
And Tim, one last thing. You mentioned the Barbara woman that you picked up the book, Barbara Masiniak, right? She
Yes.
she brings information forward from the Palladians.
Well, I had my friend that lived down in Kentucky, and then I had a friend in here in Michigan that I physically knew, and we were by a campfire out in my backyard, and I got hit by this raindrop, and it usually hit me on like my center of my forehead or on my cheek or my forearm, and it wasn't all the time. And then I started seeing like little orbs, like gold ships, and the first time I seen one, it went like counterclockwise, and then it just disappeared. No like sonic booms or anything. Went towards Selfridge Air Force Base, and I was walking my dog. So my buddies told me I would tell them about these experiences I've been having. My buddy, down in Kentucky, and my buddy here in Michigan, and they said maybe it was the Palladians looking over you. And this is when I started looking into their culture of who they are. And, it's a pretty cool story of, their being, So that's what led me to you, is my curiosity for, being able to figure out how I can be a part of, helping the planet and people. And, it's a lot of stress being who I am and whatever it may be, but I get through it,
Yeah, well, you're doing amazing. Your energy is wonderful, and I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah, I'm blessed to be here with y'all. Thank you. You guys have a good night. I'm gonna listen in. Thank you.
Great. Okay, anybody else who's on the phone wants to come and play? Okay. Well, thanks for coming and playing. And remember that this is the beginning, the big beginning. So it's time to really, in each moment, feel into what it is that you choose and incorporate all of you here. And it'll be very evident if we're talking from a linear perspective out there. It'll be very evident out there that the shit is hitting the fan. And now it's really the time to step up, and that will materialize in different ways for different people, and it will materialize in different ways for the same person, in a variety of different ways. But now really is that time to have as much compassion as you can. And also very important to make sure that in your integration part that you keep good boundaries. So don't let yourself be run over or be flattened by other people's energies or by their words and stuff. You can have compassion, you can be helpful and expansive and help to work with people in various ways through the situations and through what is right now falling down and blossoming. But that doesn't mean that you're a doormat or a punching bag, either on an energetic level or any other level. And that's really important to remember too. Yeah, who said hello?
It's Jeannie.
Hey, Jeannie.
Hi, I kept trying to talk, and I guess I was muted. I was pushing the mute button on my phone, and it wasn't doing anything. I'm here.
Cool. All right. Well, so jump in. What do you got going on?
Today's just been over the top, goosebumps from head to toe, and feeling like I'm floating. Just feeling, just expansive beyond my body. Just a wonderfully joyful, beautiful day.
Cool. And Jeannie put that nice post up on the IUV about unity. So she likes to swim in the unity energies.
Yeah.
And can I share just a smidge in an oblique way of something that you and I were talking about the other day?
Sure.
Okay, so Jeannie's gonna get all out there, and she's been feeling that she wants to do things, nudge to do things for a long time, and now she's gonna do them. So she's gonna manifest them out for all to experience and play with, and I'm excited about it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm excited too.
Thank you. Yeah. It is very exciting. BZ illuminated my perfectionistic streak, and so I'm just gonna put it out there, and it is what it is, and hopefully it'll bless people.
Oh, I think it will. It already has, as evidenced by the one that you did already. So, yeah. And remember too that the energies are such now that there are individuals and groups of individuals and collectives of individuals, beings that are looking for pools of energy that's a fit for just that piece, that dot or puzzle piece, however you want to hold it, that they're looking for. And as they come into contact with those things, they actually, we talked about before, they're transmitting a little bit differently, and so that then sends that connection out to others. So describe it in a very linear term, it may be that if someone's doing something, whatever that something is, so we'll just say it's a blog post, and they do it, and on a linear level, they may be disappointed when they do it because only one person shows up, in theory, that they could see to look at it or experience it or something. And from that perspective, on a very linear, very narrow focused perspective, if there's evidence for that could be actually true. But instead of letting whatever that creation was go out and be what it was and connect with that one person, because it's perfect in that moment, right? You let it out, it was there, it fulfilled you to let it out. You put it out there, this other being met it, and it fulfilled them, right? And so if you just go on to whatever you feel moved to do next in whatever creation avenue that takes, it could be a whole, it's unlimited, but it could be. And instead of, like in the old energies, worrying, well, I need to do this, or I should do this, or I should have more people, or blah, blah, blah. And in that flow, what seemed like, and from a linear construct, was the one person coming into contact with that, it actually was many people, could be hundreds and so on and so forth, because now it's in their energy field. So not only was it your creation and them coming into contact and commingling, coming into coherence with your creation, which then created something completely new and completely more expansive. But it's also made an expansion, so it's shifted, so it's altered, enhanced, evolved the energy field of that being who came into contact with your thing, which now is going on and giving that gift in a myriad of other ways to all these other beings.
Beautiful.
Well, BZ, I also have said a lot recently even that we're all sort of like translators, and not everyone can understand everyone. So, I mean, you know, I've had experiences with some of my videos where I'll be saying the exact same thing as someone else, and just in a different manner or in my own way of toning it and stating it. And someone very close to me just can't hear me. But someone else can say the exact same thing in their own tone and in their own manner, and that same person can understand it. Sometimes it's a matter of like what you have talked with me about, is that maybe their expansion, or like in my case, I was expanded and I was in a different space and I could hear something or hear something more of what I'd heard before. But also I think that that's kind of why I'm feeling like it's important for any of us that feel a push or a thought to do something or say something or write something or draw something or whatever it is that we feel this desire or this push to do. It's that little voice inside that might say, well, we're not good enough, or we're not worthy, or it's not good enough and nobody's going to read it. That's what for me, when you say about playing small, and who are we at this point to keep ourselves small when it might be that very push, as you said, that helps someone else understand a thing. And so, yeah, that's what I view that as. We each have a certain set maybe of the population, or even like you said, just one person that we are the translator for that person.
Well, and you're creator beings, not keeper beings.
Can I chime in real fast?
Yeah.
Can I chime in real fast? I just wanted to say it was funny that I was just thinking about translation, and you started talking about translation, and I was trying to read some of these documents, and like I'm not really like context smart reading English and stuff, like the way I was taught. I grew up in Hamtramck, tried to learn my best. I tried to learn as well, and but it's weird. It's hard trying to understand some of these things when, your education level isn't that high to read some of these things, and to comprehend some of like what's going on, but I think I got the skim of things because like I have my team of people that I talk to somewhere in this call, and we translate for each other, but that's a beautiful thing.
Cool. Yeah, it's very cool. And that's exactly how it is. So we're not keeper beings, we're creator beings. So we're limitless potential, opportunity, abundance, creation. The multiverse isn't even the limit. There is none. But the idea too is that you create it and you let it go. Because now what you have created is its own energy field. And it goes and floats, so to say, out where it flows, and it comes into context, so it's taking on a whole other thing. And so as a creator being, you're not a creator keeper, so you don't keep it, I gotta watch it and monitor it, which is why the whole idea of the marketing, the sales, and the figures, and having it scalable and blah blah blah, all the all those terms that are an anathema to me now, even though I used to say them all the time. That was, again, that's a constrictive way to do it. So whatever we're creating, whatever that is, whatever shape, form, it is, create it and play with it to that sense, and then let it go. So when we talked about earlier, all those beautiful rainbow colors, so those sparkling things, all of your thoughts and dreams and feelings and creations are all of those. And you're just this effervescent, amazing fountain of expansive, expressive being and doing this, and you're having such a ball doing whatever that is, and you let them all flow. You're too busy being expansive, creative, wonderful, effervescent to be, doing the metrics on, on the number.
Yeah, I'm too busy to be like working. with
Right.
like, you know, other equipment because I'm feeling this other way, you know? Just
Yeah.
wanted to add that.
Yeah. Cool, Jeannie. So there you go. Cat's out of the bag.
Yes, yes, it is. And you do see me, don't you? Because I do need to let it go and not worry. Stop being such a worrywart. So thanks for that.
You can't be in the effervescence of playing and worrying at the same time because they're not compatible. You just can't do it. It's kind of like love and fear.
That's true. Yeah.
They don't flow together.
Well, walking through my life, I am being the effervescence more and more. And the old me was very much of a warrior and a keeper. But I've been going through this process of letting go in a lot of areas. And I think, having to be the mom and the dad to my kids, I was very much feeling the need to be in control and this and that. And thankfully, now that they're all grown, I've been gently moving myself through the process of letting go and being more free and allowing myself to play and allowing myself to be. So, yeah, you're right. They're completely different feelings. Totally not on the same anything.
Yeah, and Jeannie is sparkling and effervescent and watch out expansive, so.
Thank you.
See, everybody else can feel it right now too. There was that. You popped right up into that.
Yes, I noticed I started itching, so I wasn't having trouble with itching, and the headache's gone. So I've moved on to something else now.
Awesome.
Anybody else want to come forward and play?
I just wanted to respond to what you're all talking about. This is Aja, and I mean, it's so true. That's the creativity has been the thing that's been the most controlled, I think, of all, because it's the power innate in all of us. And when you have to start think of like, how will it be taken? Can I monetize this? How many people like this? Oh, only these amount of people. Oh, I'll never make a living. Oh, what'll I do? I mean, it's just like, it's awful. I've done that. And now we're entering a new time when the artists within all of us can just come out and play. It's just so fantastic.
Yes.
Yes.
We're free to be you and me.
Yay.
I mean,
there's things you can do to creativity. It's kind of like sex or something. It's just like judging it and controlling it and caging it. And that's why they, in quotes, have done that, because it is the worst thing to do to an artist. Like Jeannie, how you felt about it. It is the very worst thing to the energy, because the energy itself is completely liberated. So then, you have this liberated energy, and then you bring it out into the world and you do the exact opposite to it. It is a kind of a torture, abuse.
You
it's
could
terrible.
use Picasso with the brush.
Yeah, right. But we're all go now, so we're up we go.
Yeah, no more of that.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And the only time that we can now, with the energies, that we can actually encounter that for any more than a very split fraction of a moment is if we're playing in that energy.
And I love that you always say play, because play is freedom. Play is fun. Play is light, laughter. Play is awesome.
Yeah.
And I grew up in a way that I couldn't play until my work was done, and then becoming a single mom, well, my work was never done, and so now I've allowed myself to play, and I love that you keep saying the play, because just saying that word, makes my heart feel expansive and free.
Language is very powerful, the words you use.
I'm sorry,
Absolutely.
say that again.
Language is very powerful, the words that you choose.
Yes.
Play versus the alternative is very powerful. I just wanted to also say that the young man that was speaking about, you know, being limited by your beliefs, education in this country, in the world, is so much of a false construct. It doesn't matter what diplomas or certifications you have or what school you went to, you are a creator being. And it's time to step into it completely wholly and own it. Don't be limited by, you know, where you grew up.
I trust me, man. I'm about it. I'm about it. You know, I've been trying to own it every day of my life. It's just like it was just hard to do without some things that were, you know, the access to some things to make things, you know, like the brush, man. I need the paintbrush. You know, I can only go so far. I work hard every day, you know, and do the best I can. But for sure, I feel you. I appreciate your thought, though. You know, bro.
Sure.
Much love.
The last thing I want to say on play is that the way I hold play, it's all play. And even if from a linear perspective, you know, I'm sweating and I'm exhausted by the end of my play session, whatever that is, it's that feeling. It's still an expansive feeling, even if it's, you know, even if it's a conversation that I'm having with a certain being and the constraints on that certain being are very hard, and I'm trying to lift that being out of the lower place, those constraints I put them in. It is still play, even though it's on a linear, incredibly difficult to do and very hard. And Taliesin knows the being I'm talking about. But yeah, so it's all play from my perspective.
Yes.
And BC, this is Bob. So I've been an artist all my life, and the thing that really hit home, you've mentioned it this time, and another one of your group conversations is noticing. I think it was the last one. Noticing, that was so important, because I carry my phone around, and I take pictures all the time of things I notice. And I mean, whether it's leaf patterns on anything, moths, anything I notice, cloud patterns, anything. And I've got more images on my phone than I know what to do with, in a sense, and a lot of them are, but it's that energy you were talking about. It's the noticing, and it's like, oh, that's something. I've just created it. And whether I manifest it physically in a painting or not, it doesn't matter. Yeah. And that noticing is the key. It's like there are so many things you can look around just where you're sitting, and they're brilliant, and they are creative things or images, and it's everywhere. And I swear it's everywhere. It's on the sidewalk. It's the littlest things. Just look. And with the awareness, I mean, just pay attention, and it's all there, everywhere. And I'll never get to all of it, but I don't care, because I want to, you know, I'm creating worlds with energy and all that kind of stuff. You know, it really doesn't matter, because it's the creator within that's delighting.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter if it's hanging. I mean, who cares if it's hanging on a wall or this or that? You're already creating with that energy. You did it. You've already done it. And you said, you know, it doesn't matter if it manifests out, or maybe later it will.
Yeah.
But even if it just stays in the notebook, it doesn't matter. It's all, the energy's already been put out there. Yeah. And that's the exciting part. It's like, it's the aha, it's, oh, look. And it's like a little child. You'll see them. They're in wonder all the time. Follow them. It's like, oh, look at this. Oh, look at that bug in the puddle drowning. And they'll just be so fascinated with it. I mean, all that kind of stuff, and they're right.
Yeah.
And that's where we need to fully get back to us that way.
Well, and what you mentioned too, Bob, you get a beautiful illustration. Something you said a little bit back is when you notice something, the act of noticing it is a creation, is a conversation. It actually is something that on an energetic level has been manifested, and you let it go. You may take a split second to notice it, or you click a picture, whatever it is, and noticing. And it doesn't matter what you're noticing. It could be labeled as good, bad, ugly, beautiful, whatever. It doesn't matter. But in that noticing, that's we'll call it, because we're talking about the effervescent bubble. So that's a bubble that you've created, and it floats off. It's actually another way to hold it is that's a gift of creation for all, but that floats along to some other, because now it's in the all. So it's in the morphogeneric field, which doesn't just encompass this planet and all the beings on it or in it, but outside of the planet and all the other planets and all the other universes and all the other multiverses and so on and so on and so forth, right? So it's out there because it's a creation. And in that, then someone else, when they're tuning in and noticing, they can see it come by and they're noticing that now creates something else. So it really is, I mean, that's, it's source wanting to know source. So if we all looked at one thing one way, source would be pretty bored knowing source, because it's like, well, wait a minute, where's the rest of the all? And that holding, if we're not creator beings, but we're keeper beings, right? Then it's hard to keep having source notice source, because if we're keeping, we're stopping right here instead of going forward.
Yeah, and I've learned to let it go, in the sense that, and then, and it's exciting and it's so freeing, and it's not commerce. I mean, in the sense it's become commerce, but it was never meant to be commerce. Music wasn't either. All of that. Whistle a tune, but you don't have to copyright it because anyway, it's the next moment's different anyway. So just let it go. Yeah. We've gotten that mindset of copyright, commerce, build something out of it, build a brand, and all that stuff. It's not any of that. And
right.
it's so.
It was designed that way intentionally, not so that you might copyright it and purportedly and make money on it, but so that the system could.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
You just thought you were, maybe.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, it's off on an island and collecting interest. Yeah. Yeah. So just play absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. It's all process.
Yeah.
It's all.
And remember as things unfold here, and Taliesin mentioned at the beginning how exciting it is and everything unfolding and what's happening, and I can absolutely tell you that the speed at which things have been unfolding and happening, and you're noticing and reading and experiencing and all of those things, has been a snail's pace. Okay, last week especially has been a snail's pace. So now that it's a go. So just want to get you all ready.
Just yell yeehaw.
Yeah, it's fun. It's exciting. I look at it as it's a big wave, and I'm ready to hop my surfboard. Ride it.
Bonsai pipeline.
That's why I chose that image for the call thing, because I thought, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having the sense of feeling it coming rather quickly. So yeah, go is like almost an understatement.
Went.
BZ, I re-listened to the post that you made of your call with Heather on August 20th. I listened to that today.
Huh?
And hearing, I've to the point to where I heard it in a different way. And in light of that conversation you had and what we're talking about now, as you know, the commerce and all that is a thing of the past, and we are the value. We are it. Yes. And I see it clearly, very clearly, like I've never seen before. And I'm super excited to see how this, you know, like catching this wave, what this is going to look like, and how, you know, how many people are going to be able to get up in there and surf with us on this. All, I say all.
Well, there you go. And that's, again, choosing. So you're setting, you know, there are different, there still are a few different timelines, and it is all free will choice. But the more that truly step into that all and feel that and do whatever they're moved to do to support that and help others with that, that's where we can go. And we're right in, that's the go, you know, we're right in that time frame to bring all that to fruition.
Well, I've had a deep heart intention. It was like 25 or so years ago where I felt deeply, I was in church in worship, and I just felt this intense desire for everyone to feel what I was feeling in that moment, for everyone to have that feeling of freedom and grace and to know that love. And I've walked intentionally in my path in my life to bring that about to the degree that I've been able to. So I'm even more excited to just throw it out there and see what happens.
Yeah, there you go. Play with effervescent rockets on your feet.
Yes. Oh, like that movie Jupiter Rising.
Yes.
What's his name? Flying around on those rocket tennis shoes.
Yes. Yep. Cool. Anybody else want to come play? Okay. Well, I love you all, and I see you all, and I don't mean looking at the screen. I mean, I see your energy, and I see the amazing effervescent that you are, and the dancing and playing that's happening within your. I'm just going to take a minute to kind of, words don't really do it, but to paint a picture of what I'm seeing from each and feeling who are on the call, because remember, it's not a linear, it's a quantum. So it's actually a very cool, very large group that's playing, but it's really, some are a bit tentative, so their colors aren't that bright. Some are, if I was to draw, you know, part of them is really sparkly and the other part is a little quiet. And some are kind of, if I was to speed it up, they're kind of vibrating up and down right in their seats, so, you know, ready to go kind of a thing. And it's very cool to feel all of that and watch all of that. And what that is those, not only the energy vibration of your beings, but your whole energy signature and the streams of that which is the totality of you pouring into yourselves makes all those blends of the way I see it, the different colors that are all infilling back into you to fountain out in that playing expansive way. So that's just the way I see you all. So I love you. Have a great evening wherever you are, and let's do this. We got
Love you too,
Love you too,
BZ.
BZ.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Love
Bye-bye.
you.
To everyone.
Sweet dreams.
Thank you.